Hello and welcome to the Ruby and Roses podcast. My name is Addie and I'm the yarn dyer behind Ruby and Roses Yarn, and in this video today I'm going to be addressing one of the hottest topics about hand-dyed yarn. What is a base? Are you an experienced knitter but new to the world of hand-dyed yarn, or are you a beginner knitter and have always been perplexed by what indie dyers mean when they address their hand-dyed yarn? I'm not going to be talking about what fiber types best suit your dream project. However, that will be the topic of next week's video, so be sure to like and subscribe right here to be notified when that video goes live. And I also wanted to mention one last thing. Please note that this information is specific to my shop and what I chose to name each base as a creator. So with that being said, each base name is very special to me because it reflects the brand of my company, as well as list a specific attribute about the base in particular. So without further ado, let's get started. I cannot wait to finally address this topic after getting so many emails about it for quite some time. Let's get started. Since we're going to be talking about yarn bases, naturally I had to take you into my Undyed yarn room at the studio. As you can see, I have quite a few different yarn bases laid out. I cannot wait to dive into this world of different textures, different fiber types, different blends, different weights. So many fun things to start out with. Here's a little behind the scenes footage of what this room looks like. As you can see, it's overflowing with so much yarn. These are all of the different bases that I carry in the shop, and since I'm dyeing several hundred skeins a week now, I have to make sure I have quite a lot of each base at any given time. I also wanted to mention one last thing. Please make sure that you click the top right hand corner of this video because it will direct you to the yarn base info tab on my website, where I have all of the different fiber blends listed, as well as the different plies and weight, and where my yarn is sourced. All in all, I think it will be a great visual aid for this video. First things first, a base is pretty much the code name for the fiber blend, the ply, and all of the technical information for a base. Indie dyers typically give it a cool name that reflects their brand to make shopping easier for you all, because you will remember what a specific base is. Like for instance, my soft rose base is by far my most popular, super soft, and I will get into the actual content of it that makes it so awesome. But before I get started, and before you start to open your mind up to what a base is, think about a colorway name, but for the actual yarn itself, not just for the theme. So like, this is a specific colorway, but it's dyed on this base. Hopefully that makes sense. Now let's get started as to what fiber types each one is. The first bases I wanted to show is my lace weight bases. I thought it would be super fun if I started with the finest weights that I carry first. This is my delicate rose base because it's just so soft and delicate, and the shine on this base is unlike anything else. It is, like I said, lace weight, and it contains 50 grams per 459 yards. So it's a very hefty yardage amount. It contains 72% kid mohair and 28% mulberry silk. It's the most luxurious base, in my opinion. It's so fun. The second base that I carry in lace weight is my rose cloud base. As I'm sure you've guessed, I decided to name this base that particular name because it's just soft and fluffy as a cloud. It is again a 50 gram skein, and it contains 328 yards. It's 74% baby cereal alpaca and 26% mulberry silk. As you can see, it's slightly higher yardage than my delicate rose base, but I just think that adds a little bit more of a dense fabric to your final gauge, which can be very fun depending on what project you're using. But again, more info to come in my next video on that. Also, sorry for the dye under my nails, but that is the mark of an indie dyer, and unfortunately it's unavoidable at times. Next up, I'm going to be starting with my fingering weight bases. So the first fingering weight base I'm going to show is my Rosegold base. It has a little bit of sparkle in it, hence the name Rosegold. It is a 100 gram skein, and it contains 437 yards. It's an 80% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 5% gold stellina 4-ply blend. So as you can see, it's a pretty standard fingering weight base. However, I love that it's a 4-ply that just can really showcase that stellina. Next up is my Plump Rose base, which, as you can see, it's extremely plump and you can really see those plies in there. Hopefully it will focus. It is a 100 gram skein per 400 yards. It's an 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 2-ply. So the yardage is slightly less compared to my other bases, however, it makes up for it in plumpness. So if you want a slightly heavier fingering weight yarn, then I would recommend this base. Next up is my soft rose base. I wanted to show you some in skeined up form and some just like unskeined in the bundle. It is a 100 gram skein per 437 yards, and it's an 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 4-ply. So it is the same fiber content as plump merino, however you have that extra 2 plies in there for added durability. Then migrating to the other side of the table, we have the last fingering weight base that I carry. It is my single rose base, and it is again a fingering weight 100 gram per 437 yards. As you can see, it is a little bit different from my other bases, partly because it's 100% superwash merino and contains no nylon. Stay tuned for my next video to hear what project this would be best suited for. I had to show you my sport weight base, which is not really available in the shop unless it's a special order, so feel free to email me with the email address that's listed in the description if you want to order it on a specific colorway. But this is again a 100% superwash merino base per 100 gram skein. It contains 328 yards, and it's an incredible 4-ply, so it's just basically a thicker version of my soft rose base. As you can see, sport weight is that perfect middle ground between DK and fingering weight. I only carry one DK weight base, and that's just because I feel like this one ticks all the boxes for the perfect DK weight. It is again 100 grams per 246 yards. It contains 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and again, it's a 4-ply. I think this would be super fun for so many different projects, but again, I will share that in my next video. And then the last base that I carry in the shop is my worsted weight. So as you can see, I pulled a sample skein of this because it's an intro to the next segment of this video. But this is what it looks like undyed. It is a worsted weight base that contains 219 yards per 100 grams, and again, it's a 100% superwash merino 4-ply. So this is what it looks like dyed up, and I just think it takes dye so beautifully. This base is more of a special order blend, so be sure to write me an email if you're not seeing the colorway that you would like on this base. This is my soft rose base with the dyed skein, and then this is an undyed skein, and I just wanted to show you how a little bit of nylon in the yarns really adds such a depth of color once it's applied. I just really love having a superwash yarn with a little bit of nylon in it along with the natural fibers to just really make the color shine and just create such an eye-catching heirloom piece, in my opinion. And then this is what my gold stellina yarn looks like dyed up. As you can see, that slight sparkle is just so fun and a little glamorous. I wanted to spend the briefest of moments showing some of my mini skeins. So here is what my Plump Rose base looks like in mini skein form. Plump Rose is the exact same base on full skein and mini form in fiber content and in ply. The only difference is that since it's 20 grams, it's a total of 80 yards. My Soft Rose base for minis is a total of 87 yards. Same with my Rosegold. Rose DK base is a total of 49 yards per 20 grams. Again, all of that information is on the website and on the top right hand corner of this page. So in case you are curious, this colorway is currently not available in the shop because it is going to be launching July 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time in my next collection launch, and this colorway is Godric's Hollow. So that is a wrap for this video. Thank you so much to everyone who watched. I hope this adds a little bit of clarity to what I know is a confusing topic. I'm really excited to shoot next week's video, which is going to be, like I said, a sequel to this one, and I would love to know in the comments what is an essential question you really hope I cover in next week's video. So like I said before, I'm going to be addressing what fiber types work best for what projects based on like the different blends that I carry. So I think it's going to be a really fun conversation that I can't wait to have with you all. So please let me know that I don't miss one of your questions, because that would be really awful. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next week, I will talk to you all later. Bye.